Hello, welcome to the channel. Today we are going to talk about how to get your house ready for winter. So there will be two types of inspections and suggestions that I will give. One is for the exterior and one will be for the interiors. In this video, I'll be going through the overviews for all the inspections that I recommend, but I will be also putting the link on the top right corner for respective videos that if you need to have more details on those things. So first we will be inspecting roof. So the best way to do it is using drone, but if you don't have access to the drone, then you can just go across the street from your house and use your camera to zoom in and inspect. So like this, you can click some pictures, then you can go to back of your house, then click more pictures and you can review it. So if there's any issue, you can get it fixed before winter starts. Then the next is to inspect your siding around the house so that to make sure there is no siding piece that came off or loose, so you can also get it fixed before winter starts. Third will be to inspect the eaves, so you can check if there's any leaky corners or any issue with the leaves, so you can also fix it before temperature drops, because in winter it's hard to fix the joints and add glue to it. Then you have elbows for the gutter. So in summer it's recommended to put it down so the water can go into the swale and go to the road, but before winter comes you can put it back up so it's secured before snow starts falling. Good to go around your property to see the grade, that if it's properly set so that there is no extra pile of snow that will be melting when spring comes and going the water into your foundation. And then also your deck area grade should be going away from the foundation. So if you see it's going away this way so that the water doesn't pile up by your foundation. Also inspect your window well for window well rocks. So if the level of the rocks are low and you can see the exposed foundation, that means it needs to be refilled. Also there is a drain pipe for the window well that goes to your whipping tile that has to be filled with rocks and free of any debris. Then make sure you also disconnect your hose from the exterior bib, and then shut off this water wall from the basement and drain all the water, so that make sure there is no water standing in this bib. Otherwise, when the freezing season comes, the water will freeze and it will burst the pipe, so that you will have then a problem in spring. Also inspect that all your exterior vents and then LBs, they are properly siliconed, so there is no air leakage going through. So this is like sump pump, and then your furnace vents and hot water tank vents as well. So if the silicone need to be redone, then please just buy a silicone, and then it's very easy to apply. Also, if your house is 2-3 years old, then you may need to replace your silicone as well. Also make sure that your exhaust vent for HRV or your furnace is properly clean here. So if you see the flap is properly opening and there is no debris here or like spider webs, so please clean it before winter comes. You have to do the same thing for the intake. So for intake, there will be, instead of the flap, there will be a metal net that makes sure everything is clean, so it's the intake airflow is smooth. Next step would be to inspect your gas line and gas meters to make sure that there is no rust on it or any leakage. So if you see this is properly painted, sometime after a few years the metal pipe here starts rusting. So what you can do is just sand it and paint it with rust resistant paint. And also you have to inspect your garage gas line. So I'll attach a picture that if it's not painted or properly sealed, then there might be ice coming, the cold coming in, and it forms a rust, and then there might be problems down the road. So make sure you sand down the rust and paint it with paint resistant paint. Then you need to inspect your deck. If your deck is done this year with treated wood, then you are pretty fine. Usually treated wood need to be painted or sealed every 2-3 years. So if your deck is almost 2 or 3 years, then you can paint it before winter starts, so it can protect your treated wood from getting damaged. I will attach pictures showing that before and after the deck sealant is applied. Then the next step would be to inspect your barbecue gas line. So if you had your barbecue connected to it, then you can either disconnect it and put the stopper like this, or you can just shut off the gas so that there is no issue during the winter season, and make sure that the plate is properly siliconed. And also you will need to inspect your garage door weather strips. If you see on the side here that there is no light coming, but if there's any light coming from the down, then you can adjust the outside weather strip. So I'll show you that from the outside. So if you see here, it's properly sealed. So this is the door weather strip from the outside, and if you see, it's sitting very tight at the door. So just in case if you see a gap at the bottom or on the side, so you can just open 2 or 3 screws from here and then move it a bit inside or outside, and then you'll be able to fix the issue. Inspect the side weather strip. You will also need to inspect the bottom rubber. So if you see, this one is damaged. So what happens is, when in winter you close the garage door, the bottom rubber go to the floor and get stuck with ice, and then when you open the door, this part stays stuck to the ground and garage goes up and it tears it apart. So this one is a normal problem, but it's good to get it fixed every few years. And also, if you have your exterior unit of AC, then you can shut off the breaker from the basement from your electrical panel for AC, and also put some kind of cover on your AC unit that's on the outside to protect it from exterior elements like snow and freezing rain or as such. Step 1 is to inspect your furnace filter. So you just open the furnace cover here, filter cover here, and then you take out the filter, so that if you see, the filter here is not that dirty, but as it gets dirty, this will be getting darker. So you can change it to the same size filter. So make sure that if you're replacing it, you have to choose the same 20-25 into 1 inch filter, or whatever the size you have. And then you can also put a date here, that the day you install it, or you can also put the date that you want to change it. So it's up to you, or you can just put it in your phone calendar and then put a reminder for that. So just replace it. Make sure that you are following the arrow on the filter and on the furnace. So the arrow has to go towards the furnace. So if the airflow is coming from here and going to your furnace, then you have to follow that. Then also you have to keep it in mind that when your furnace was last cleaned, so the recommendation for the furnace cleaning, that is the whole furnace and duct cleaning system, it has to be done every 2 years. So if your duct cleaning was done 2 years ago, or it's closer to 2 years, then I would really recommend that if you can get it done before winter starts, because in winter it gets a little hard for the companies to clean the furnace when the temperature is like below -10, -15. Then you will also need to clean your HRV filter. So there are 2 clip locks on the top, so you can open it and then just push it, it will come out. Then there is a shut off button, auto shut off button. So once the HRV door flap opens, then it will automatically shut off. So there are 2 filters on each side. You can just take it out. So if you see, this is a little dirty, so you can just vacuum it. If it's too full of dust, you can wash them as well. And then also you will need to vacuum the whole unit, so you can vacuum all these spaces, the fans and all those things. This unit can be washed with water, but it's not needed to be done every month or every time you clean your filter. So it's good to do like once or twice a year. Then the next inspection that you need to do is for your humidifier. So this whole unit is humidifier, and then on the top is the Humidistat. So in this one, the first thing you need to do is switch from summer to winter as soon as the weather reaches below 5 degrees day and night. So you can just put it to winter. So what this does is it opens the flap here so that it starts the airflow when your furnace is running or your heating system is running. And then this one is a humidifier pad where will be moisture running through, and then when air passes through, it will pick up the moisture. So the moisture in this unit runs depending on the humidistat setting you have. So I'll be attaching a link there for a complete information that what are the recommendations for your humidity. So I won't be going into that detail too much, but I'll give you a quick review here. So in this one, you have to if you haven't already changed the humidifier pad when winter ended early this year, then you will need to replace it now. So this is recommended to be changed once a year, or if you have AC in summer, then you have to change it twice a year. So now before winter, if you haven't already changed it, and if you see there's a lot of mineral deposit, then you can just take it out and open it like this. So this filter comes out, and then you can replace it with the new one. So I'll attach a picture for how to find the model number for your humidifier. So it's usually on the either side of your humidifier pad, and then it will give you the brand name and the size of the model number of the humidifier, and then you can go to hardware store and just buy it. Then you also need to make sure that you clean the condensate line for HRV unit that's going into the drain there. Plus same thing for your furnace here. So these lines goes into your drain. So after regular use of your heating in winters, and then when you use AC, they get a lot of debris, and then you can clean it with 50% vinegar and 50% water, so that in heating season, when your humidifier is running a lot, there will be a lot of water draining through these. So to make sure they are properly clean and water is draining properly, it's good to clean them before winter starts. Then for your hot water tank, make sure that the setting is set to level B, so that there is a continuous supply of water when your house needs it. But if you go lower, then it may be not that hot for your winter season. I will be also talking about the other model for the hot water tank. Then the second type of hot water tank is by brand Giant, and if you see the sensor on this one, there is no light on, so that means it's running normal. So when you press both the buttons together for 2-3 seconds, then there will be a light. So that's the set level of temperature. So you can set it to A, or you can go hotter AD or B or BC or C. I will recommend to stay on B or AB level. That will be the best for this one. Then also inspect the venting on this. So if you see here, there is a vent. So there are two pipes, intake and exhaust for the hot water tank. Make sure they're pretty tight and there is no air leakage. And then you can also check the connections for the water connections. So also inspect your sump pump. So after a lot of use of it in summer due to rain, sometimes the motor may burn. Also, you have to be cautious that when spring starts, then you are ready to, your sump pump is ready to drain all the water. So there are two ways to test it. So the simplest way is if you have the sump pump in which there are two wires here. So these two wires, so this wire is for the sump pump power on, but this one is a power cut, so in which there is a float inside the pit, sump pit there, that when the water reaches about 70-80%, it automatically starts the power from here to the sump pump, and then it starts. So to test it, you can directly plug in the sump pump for a few seconds, and you heard that sound. That means your sump pump is running very good. And then you put this back and it's good to go. So if you have a sump pump with a single wire, then you can open the sump pit cover and then raise the float and test it. So I will put a sump pump detailed video on the top right corner. For thermostat, make sure that your fan stays on auto. So when you're heating, your furnace needs to heat your house, then it will be automatically running. Then your mode on the system should be heat. So make sure that it's heat and it will say heat here. Then you can raise the temperature from here. So this is the set temperature that you want to. So you can, depending on your desired choice, you can do 21, 22. Then your house temperature will be going up as well. Then for the more detail on this thermostat, I will put the link on the top right corner so you can watch that video. So the recommended setting for the HRV control panel is if you keep the fan speed around 3, 4 or 5, that will be best. And then for the automatic ventilation setting, so the recommended is as soon as the temperature goes below 5, then keep it at 20 at ventilation, 20 minutes ventilation and 40 minutes standby option. In this one, there will be no ventilation because we'll be keeping the doors and windows closed. But at the same time, it's not too much. But as soon as the temperature starts falling low, then you have to change the settings. It can be continuous ventilation, or it can be 20 minutes ventilation and then 40 minutes interior circulation. So for this one, I'll be putting a link on the top right corner for more detailed information. And then for the humidity, so this one is the live humidity, but this will be going down as winter comes because the outside air becomes drier. So this number, which is the dehumidistat option, you can put it about 35, 36 for now, but as the weather changes, then you have to again play around. Please watch the detailed video and it will give you the full information. So for your gas fireplace, if you haven't used it in whole summer, there were chances that when you turn it on for the first time, it won't be running in first try. So what happens is during the time when the fireplace is shut off, the gas line for the fireplace gets air filled in, and there are high chances that it won't be running right away because there's no supply of gas. So what you need to do is, 2 switches you see for the fireplace, you have to turn them on and off for like 4 or 5 times, and then when you turn on your fireplace, it will be running. So if you see, it started. I'm not sure if you can see because it's a bright day today, but yeah, you can see the fire, so it's running. So it's very simple trick. So what that does is when you turn it on, the switches few times, so one switch is for the igniter and the second switch is for the fireplace to start. So it starts pushing the gas in, so the air that's stuck there, then it escapes and the gas flow starts, and then your fireplace will start. Plus, just on the side note, if you see there is a kind of a fog on the glass, so that's very normal for a few minutes. So there's a moisture inside your fireplace, and then as soon as the fire turns on, that moisture evaporates and makes a condensation on the glass. So within few seconds, if you see on this side, the condensation is disappearing, so it's very normal. So it will go away within 1 or 2 minutes. Also inspect your attic hatch and attic. So for attic, you need to check if the locks are properly latching, and then there is a weather strip around the attic hatch. So if you have a pre-installed weather strip, then you can check it's properly sealing or not. Otherwise, you can remove it, and you can also replace it with attic tape. You can it's easily available at any hardware store, so you can just remove the old one and install the new one there. So it's very easy to inspect your attic. So first is open your locks here, then just open the hatch. So when you open the hatch, you can just put it on the top side space. If you see like this, then it will stay hold, and then you can check the weather strip here that it's properly sealing. There's another weather strip layer on the hatch. Also, there's another type of attics that come that if they are custom made, then they are made on site and they're installed with usually yellow or white color tape. So it's a one-sided tape, so they remove it and put it here on the frame or on the hatch, but that tape gets damaged in 2-3 years, so you may have to replace it. So it's easy to replace. Just remove the old tape and install the new one. The new ones are easily available at any hardware store. So they are called attic tapes. So once you inspect your attic hatch, then you need to inspect your attic. So then you can just use a toll ladder and stand on it and make a video of your attic. So if you see anything odd, then you need to take an action on that one. Also, just tip, please don't keep your attic hatch on the insulation. Just put it on the frame like this so that it doesn't press the insulation down. And then to see how your insulation is looking, you can use a measuring tape. So I'll get that. And then put it down like this into the insulation, and then you'll be able to see. So if you see that right now, the insulation is about 16 to 18 inch, which is pretty good. If it starts going below 14, 15 inches, then you may need to refill it. Otherwise, it's pretty good. Also, you will need to inspect your windows. So if I open it and close it back, then the lock system is properly set, and then you can lock it. Also make sure that there is no air coming through or light coming through, so it's properly sealed. Because if your exterior door and window is not properly sealed, then there will be a lot of cold air coming in, and then it's a waste of your heating. So you have to make sure your exterior doors and windows are properly sealing and they're in good condition. Now, you will also need to prepare your exterior doors and windows for winter to come, so that make sure when you close your door and it's properly latched, so there is no light coming. So if you see at your door closely, then there might be a little light coming here. Then you can just make adjustment to the door by making adjustment to these latches, and then you'll be able to make your door a little tighter so that your door properly locks. And then if your basement is not developed, then there are high chances that you will have these heat vents by all the windows. So if I see here, so there is one window here, so that vent is open, and then there's another window there's a vent there open, and there will be another one by the mechanical room somewhere there. So in that one, the only thing you need to keep it in mind is sometimes what happens is when you use AC in summer, then you can shut this one off, so to reduce the cold air coming to your basement, because your basement doesn't need it. But in winter, it's the opposite. You have to make sure it's properly open. So if you see it's open, so that hot air can come to your basement, because in winter, your basement will be getting 2 to 3 degrees colder than what's upstairs. So you need to maintain the temperature here so your mechanical room can properly run and your basement environment can be warmer. I hope this video will help you to prepare your house for coming winter. Thanks for watching, and please consider subscribing. Thank you.